Hi guys, it's Cam back again with another weekly cross-stitching update. Today is the 8th of March 2021. This is video number 111 and it was a full coverage week. I worked on 3 different pieces, so let's get to it. The first piece was a summer ball. Trying to get my monthly amount of 2,000 full stitches done on this one. 28 count, 2/2 because it has fractionals, the back stitch. My personal goal on it this year is to do a page and a half, and I really need to cut that. I have scissors here somewhere. To do a page and a half so that I can do a page and a half for a finish on it next year. Sorry, my gridding threads are hanging in the way. So, put those over there. So my goal is to finish next year. But more on that later. So, there's the entire piece. Again, if you're interested in this chart, go down to the description box below as to how to buy it. So there's the entire piece. 3 full pages done. Working on page 4 of 6. Let me show you a little closer up. So I only did a couple of the parked threads that were, that's parked thread in the way, that's what that is. Apparently I missed that parked thread. So I did a couple parked threads down here, and then the rest of the time was all in this top section. I finished the painting. I did this whole painting over here, taking a few of the colors that were in this. I don't know if it's a wall sconce. I believe that's like a candle sconce, if you will. Because I believe that's supposed to be a candle. So, this green is the 3rd most used color in the chart. The floss chart that comes with it does have the number of stitches per color. And again, this is all anchor floss. So it was charted in anchor. I decided to try the anchor, and I really like using it. So the most used colors, of course, are the black and the white, because all the gentlemen and some of the ladies, black and white everywhere. This green, as the wool color, is the 3rd most common color. So 2,010 stitches, or 2,000 full stitches on that to finish a sprint for the Ford Mustang. Just based on number of stitches, because it was like 1964. So that was close to the 2,000 I wanted to do on that. So we'll come back to this one. It was hard for me to get into that. I was only doing like 450 to 500 stitches a day. So it took me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days to get that done. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I worked on Friends Forever by Ann Stokes, now a retired Haid. And I am on this page, so the carved throne, the side of her head, and where the wood gets shiny based on the light reflecting off of it. I did not have to work any cookie booths with my Girl Scout daughter this weekend, so I had more time. Despite the confetti, I got 3,610 stitches done to finish one sprint for the patent of the cotton gin, which the theme is clothing. She's wearing clothing. There's more cloth here under the throne because I'm being overzealous and matching the theme and doing the counting. So I finished that sprint and I started another sprint. So 3,600 stitches. There's, you know, from back here, you can kind of see where the throne carvings are going to be, and where that side of the throne is going to come down. Also the side of her head. So closer up view. There's colors all over the place. It's a little hectic to look at, I know. And because this is the edge of the throne, I can't really feather my colors into this first page. This is the edge. So I can't really feather my colors into the first page on the second row. So I will keep working on that because I have to finish my second history sprint on it, which is the one for Amelia Earhart. And because the theme is woman, and we have an elf woman here, so I'll be doing my counting on that one. Also, I'm using these stitches for one of the books for March, but I forgot which book off the top of my head. But it's a similar amount to the 2 history sprints together. And then the third piece I worked on is my daily piece, Oh Baby by Gilgash Taylor, Retired Haid, cropped. So not doing this section. I finally finished the February Bookshelf Challenge for Full Coverage Fanatics. I was using this for Outlander, which was 17,010 stitches. So it took me until March 6th to get those 17,000. Of course, this is also my 21 and 21 piece. And I used it for the horse-themed sprint for history sprints because of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So I finished all that. This week I did 3,210 stitches. Currently sitting at 32,010 stitches for the year on it. I have about 8,400 tent stitches remaining. It's going to be a finish this year. If you think, all these weeks I've been doing about 3,000 stitches a week, it's going to be a finish, or this month. I said this year. This month it's going to be a finish. Last week I had 47 colors complete. I was not aiming to complete, that was not my only goal to complete colors, but I am now up to 60 colors complete of 83. I have 23 colors remaining. So there we go. How I worked on it, I did those last couple park threads in the fence. Then I did all the black, so I'd have something to go off of to anchor threads as I did other colors. And then I did something a little different. I wasn't color completing across the whole section. I was emptying my floss cards. So when I first started this piece in 2017, I created floss cards, and I'll show them to you here in a minute. So I had these cards and floss loaded to them, which is really handy if I went somewhere, I could take it with me. I actually also did the same thing for Friends Forever, and that one actually did go on a vacation with me. So it was really handy to have a couple lengths of each color on the floss card with me so I wouldn't have to take all these bobbins. I have since changed my method of stitching. I have a double-sided floss box with my complete set of DMC right at my stitchy spot. I don't need to have floss cards unless I'm going somewhere. So I tend not to use them. And I want to just be done with them. So what I'm doing, instead of taking one color and going everywhere, once I had the black done, so I had, places I could anchor threads off of, I took my floss cards. So it's just little cardstock using self-adhesive laminating sheets. So you peel off the backing and you can stick it onto something. So there's 2 pieces of laminating with the cardstock in between. So I had made these, you write on your floss number, your symbol, you laminate it, and then you use a hole puncher to make your holes. It does tire out your hand cutting through the cardstock and the laminating sheets, but it works. But it's an extra step, especially when you have your bobbin box right next to you, to load floss onto here and then to use it off of here. So I want to be done with these. So what I was doing after I finished the black is I was going down in my pattern keeper and looking to see, okay, what colors do I have on the floss cards. I had already taken off the colors that were at 0 on pattern keeper. So I said, I'm going to do those colors for as much floss as is on here and then go to the next color. So I wasn't color completing in the chart. I was color completing what was left on my floss cards. So that's what I've been doing. And I did that a little bit with Friends Forever too, to try to start using up the floss on those floss cards. So I have my 4th quarter. So like I said, about 8,410 stitches remaining. It will be a finish this month. So then the question is, what am I going to work on next? What's my daily piece going to be next? Hallie from Stitching Big Things with Hallie, I'll link her below. She talked about this in her recent video. And I've talked about it before in various videos, how much it helps me to have a daily piece to take little bites of different whips. Whether your whip is either high in confetti or color limited. You know, I worked on this piece for one of the 90-day challenges back in Full Coverage Fanatics in 2019. Other times I worked on it up towards the top where it was just his ears. And you get tired of all the green and the brown. Color limited. You can get color burnout. I've gotten color burnout on Beauty and the Beast before because of all the blues. But it can also help you on a piece that's high in confetti or that you just, any piece that you don't feel like working on. So I've been thinking in my head and considering what do I work on next as a daily piece so I can keep getting good progress. And there was a few options that I came up with in my head. Museum shelf, supersized color expansion, 125 colors. It's got the confetti, it's got the size, it needs the progress. Could certainly work on that. My goal for the year is 4 full pages with the 4 little partials underneath it. So it's equivalent of about 5 pages. I could work on a trick or treat, which is smaller than museum shelf, but still has high confetti based on the detail. But my goal on that one is only 2 full pages and the partial. I've already done the partial and I've got the full pages in work. I'm thinking it would take me a month or maybe 2 working on it a little bit each day to reach that goal. Well, then what do I work on next? Do I keep going on it and exceed my goal, or do I work on a different piece? These are things that are going through my head. Do I work on a non-full coverage? And maybe the other 2 pieces that I want to finish this year. QS Wizard 4, which is the Greyhound Haid in all the grays. I want to finish that one. It's color limited. There's only 14, 15 colors on that one. And then the other piece, other non-full coverage I want to finish is Witchy Tea Time, which is almost all black. I could do a little bit of that each day. Like finish the Greyhound, and then when that's done, finish Witchy Tea Time, and then figure out what I'm going to do. But then I remember what I did in 2017. 2017, I finished the first piece by the same designer as the Summer Ball. It was the same style, panoramic, 6 pages across, slightly smaller, Victorian Christmas Eve. It's here on my channel. It's one of the first videos I did like a no sound 30-second video of the finished piece. I can link that below if you want to see Victorian Christmas Eve, because I can pull it off the wall, but it's all framed in glare and hard to see. So I will link below the view of it before it was framed. What I did in 2017, I had 3 pages done and the 4th page started, just like this one. And what I decided to do is to do like 135 stitches a day on it, a little bit each day, to try to get it a finish before the end of 2017. Well, just like what I've done on Oh Baby, is I keep pushing up my daily goal on it. Oh, let me get this, I want to get a page finished by, the end of February, or let me want to, I just keep saying, let me do a little more. Let me do a little more. Let me see if I can do a little sooner. I wanted to get Oh Baby done by the end of April. And here it is. I'm going to have it done by the end of March. So that's what I do to myself. I increase my goal. So on Victorian Christmas Eve, I wanted it done by the end of 2017. I got it done in June of 2017. And that's almost the exact same amount of stitching remaining that I have left in the Summer Ball right now. So what I did is, I know the stitch count for the completed pages. So from here to here, I know the stitch count. I know this stitch count. So I took this stitch count, subtracted the 6,000 stitches I've already done on this page, and then divided it by the number of days left starting 1 April. Because I've already done my March progress on it, and I'm not you know, I don't know when this is going to be done. So let's just say use 1 April as a start date to working on this daily. So that's 365 days minus the 90 days we've already had, January through March. It comes to 85 stitches a day. That does not include the little bit of back stitching on each page. There's not a crazy amount of back stitching. It's pretty easy. So 85 stitches a day, starting 1 April, I could have a second full coverage finish by the end of this year. That's very tempting. So I asked about it on my Instagram, and almost everybody said, yes, go for it. Let's see a finish on a summer ball. A couple of people said, no, keep that for next year. But I don't think I'll be able to resist. But I have a few more weeks just to consider other things. So that's what I think my next daily piece is going to be. Plans. So I'm going to keep working on Oh Baby, obviously. Friends Forever, I still have to finish my second sprint on that one. After that, I'll probably start working the sprints on Museum Shelf. And then we'll see what we get to. One quick note that's kind of stitching related. When I went to post this on Instagram, I realized that I had never posted my February progress picture. I showed it here in a video because I had worked on it. I had finished my 2,000 stitches on a Monday morning, the day right before I was going to film. And so as soon as I finished that, I went to film. And I got ready to film, and I forgot to take a picture and post it to Instagram. So I went back to my video to get a screenshot so I could show it in my Instagram. And the video that I showed this in had an advertisement at the beginning of the video. I have not monetized my channel. I have no plans to monetize my channel. So I apologize if you find advertisements at the beginning or in the middle of my videos. They're not there. They're not put there by me. I have heard, I researched a little bit on YouTube, and apparently YouTube is starting to put advertisements on channels that are not monetized for their own profit. I looked at some other videos, and there was only one video where I found it. But if you do see an advertisement, go ahead. Don't feel bad skipping that ad. It's not me. I'm not looking to make money based off of my videos. So that is it for my stitching content. One little bit of life update, and then Air Force stuff. Thank you. If you are not interested in that, we'll see you next week. My daughter's Girl Scout troop. So she's a brownie, second year brownies. We are just over halfway through the cookie season, and it's going extremely well. Our troop lowered our goal because we didn't know what sales would be like due to COVID, and we didn't need as much money as we made last year. We had an awful lot of money that we raised last year. The girls had several events that they went to spend that money. Educational, like fun, they cooked pizza, they did a craft, they went to a bed and breakfast to have a tea, like an English tea. But we don't need all that. The girls only want to go camping. We already have cabins reserved for the weekend in the summertime. We know how much money we need, and so we set our goal lower for this year. We're slightly halfway through the season, and we have already exceeded how many total boxes we sold for the entire season last year. So we don't need to sell any more cookies. But we have a couple hundred boxes left in our inventory that the troop is responsible for, that we have to pay, the service unit for, regardless if we sell them or not. So we're going to have one more cookie booth this weekend, and then we'll be done selling cookies. Which means I don't have to work as many cookie booths as I thought I did, which means more stitching time. So that's good news. Air Force story. Current events first, and then a short Air Force story. The base here sent some jets across the globe on another long flight this past weekend to the Middle East, just like we've done previously. The goal was to, there's a word I'm looking for. All right, smaller words. The goal was to meet up with aircraft from Allied Air Forces, Allied countries over there, do some photo ops, because there's political weight and deterrence from doing photo ops. So it's a way to deter things from happening without actually having to expend any munitions. So that's what we did. Of course, my husband was not part of this flight because he's not flying currently, but he was still in the know and still following along with how things were going. So we launched 3 jets to get 2 over there. They launched Saturday morning, and by Sunday morning we woke up to start seeing some pictures on social media, and the jets returned last night, Sunday night, broken. Code 3 for, code 3 means they're not flying again until maintenance fixes them. One of them actually had to try landing twice. One of those where you start to land and things aren't going the way they should, so you apply power and you do a touch and go and you try again. So they flew for about another half an hour probably to expend some gas and make themselves lighter in weight, and then they finally landed. So everyone's safe. They met up in the Middle East and had photo ops with the Israeli Air Force, Qatari Air Force, and the Royal Saudi Air Force. They were gone over 36 hours. Again, no landing, all aerial refuelings from Saturday to Sunday. So I have some pictures. Some of these were taken from an aerial refueler. Some of them were taken from the other B-52. So this was from a refueler, obviously, because the refueler is always above and in front of. This way. We got some F-15s. I believe this is Israeli Air Force. I don't know what kind of airplanes those are. I'm going to guess Qatari. But, yeah. And then here are the 2 B-52s with a KC-135 refueling. Is that all my pictures? Oh, here's another one. And more F-15s. I can't tell from this far away what country they're from. So, that's current events. And then my Air Force story. I found an article where there is an A-10 pilot whose name is Lieutenant Colonel John Marks, who at the time the article was published on the 26th of February, he was only 100 hours shy of hitting 7,000 flight hours in the A-10. This is remarkable. He's currently the record holder for the person with the most flight hours in the A-10 already, even before hitting that 7,000 hours. He started his career during the Cold War. He flew during Desert Storm and other operations. He's deployed. He had 13 combat deployments. 6 of those were to Afghanistan. And he's also, the biggest thing he's famous for is during Operation Desert Storm. On one particular day, one specific day, him and his flight lead, so he was a first lieutenant at the time, and his flight lead was a captain by the name of Eric Solomonson. They flew 3 missions in one day over Kuwait and Iraq, and they, using missiles and the 30mm gun at the front of the A-10, they destroyed 23 Iraqi tanks in one day. So this is in close air support, so there's U.S. troops on the ground, they're supporting, and they're flying around, destroying these tanks, going back and landing, getting gas, and going back up and doing it again. They did this 3 times. So they flew 3 different sorties, were up there for hours, close air support for the troops on the ground, destroying 23 tanks. So I have here a picture. This is not that same day. This is a few days later. He took a picture with his jet. He flew 3 missions in one day over Kuwait and Iraq. They destroyed 23 Iraqi tanks in one day. So I have here a picture. This is not that same day. This is a few days later. He took a picture with his jet. He took a picture with his jet. and then compared to now with his jet. So you can tell the paint job on the A-10, again, this is a different airplane. He just has his name on it. So the paint job through the years has changed a little bit. Of course, he has aged. He's now Lieutenant Colonel, just under 30 years flying the A-10. This is remarkable because usually aircrew guys are pulled off their main career field to do like joint tours to expand their horizons, give them more experience doing other things. Well, he has spent almost 30 years just flying the airplane, in operational squadrons flying the airplane. So that is how he's racked up nearly 7,000 hours in the A-10. If you think about it, fighter sorties are usually about an hour and a half. That's what without aerial refueling. So that's a lot of sorties to reach 7,000 hours. The other thing today is International Women's Day. And in the Air Force, they have done a few cool things to highlight women and in various career fields. Here and at other missile bases, they are having all female crews in the missile fields that are on alert with ICBMs. Whether you know it or not, there's always missile crews on alert with the ICBMs. 24/7, 365. Who it is on alert changes by shift. They're down there for a couple of days in a deep, dark hole in the ground. So today, being International Women's Day, it is all women. And I think in some other parts, other shops here on the base, they're also highlighting women and doing like, there's not here, but I know other aircraft and other bases have done like all female air crews. And my husband's shop, which is not a flying shop, they're made sure to have their women working today, just to say that's pretty cool, I guess. So I hope everybody has a good stitching day, good stitching week, and we'll see you later. Bye, guys.